Hey folks, this is artist-writer Bill Sienkiewicz. You're listening to the Marvel Card Collectors Podcast.
Hello everybody, my name is Ian Taylor and welcome to the Marvel Card Collectors Podcast, brought to you by the Marvel Cards Fan Collective, an awesome community of card collectors and creators. You can find our two groups on Facebook, details of which are at the end of this podcast, so come check us out. With me as always is my co-pilot in all things Marvel cards. I asked him the most important question ever, and to my surprise, he said yes. The wedding list is open, link in the show notes, and you're all cordially invited to celebrate the union of Mr. and Mrs. Norin Rad.
You're still really nice for taking my last name. You didn't have to do that. We could be more progressive than that, but I think it's really kind of you.
I'm more than happy to, simply because it's fewer letters for me to write every time I write my name. So that is true. Out of utter laziness.
Yeah, that's how I make most of my decisions. So,
listen, I cut off a syllable from my existing surname, so a whole syllable. Oh my goodness me! I'm gonna have a slurp of tea. Hang on a sec.
Oh boy, here it comes.
I'm gonna have to wet my whistle because I'm a bit. I had my first vaccine on Friday. We're Sunday now. So on Friday, and it wiped me out. I won't lie to you. I was rough yesterday. Aching.
When I first did it, I got a little roughed up too. Yeah, I mean, exhaustion, stuff like that.
Yeah. So aching and just headache and temperature as well. And weirdly, my arm was really hot to the touch all day yesterday, as well as aching.
Yeah, my arm was sore. I felt really tired and exhausted, a headache, and then my wife had a fever, but just for the first night, but nothing else.
Yes. Yeah, I think I probably did as well. That said, get them done, folks, as soon as you can.
Yeah, of course.
None of this hesitation, resistance, or any of that. The quicker we all have it, the better it is. And the more quickly we can get back to going to card shows.
Oh, yes.
Well, I say we.
I've been vaccinated now.
72% of our audience are in the US. We won't have them in this country for a long time.
Yeah. So I've already waited the 2 weeks. Everything went okay. And then I went on my first card show. Oh God, how long ago was that? That was a little while ago.
About 3 weeks ago.
Jeez. And that was really fun. I had to drive like an hour and a half. So I have one today. That's like 30 minutes, 40 minutes away. So go see if there's any Marvel stuff. This last one had some, which was pretty fun.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Well, you don't pimp it enough. Where can people see your experience to where you went to that show?
Yeah. So you can see me on YouTube for under Sketch Card Hive. I did a vlog, my first vlog, which was really fun. I've always wanted to, dabble in it and do it a little bit because I do come from like a film background and stuff like that. And I don't know, wanted to give it a shot. So I'm doing it for fun. If you follow, I appreciate it. If you check it out, that'd be nice. But it's also just basically a little side thing for me and, keep myself busy, have a little fun with it because I had a good time with it. I didn't think I would, but I did. So
no, it's great. I enjoyed it. I lolled. I did.
You lolled.
I lolled.
You lolled.
I did.
I had a blast. So it was a fun time.
Speaking of having a blast, by the time people hear this, they will have heard our interview with Grant Sangrown of Upper Deck.
Oh, yes.
And all the kind of inside intel on Black Diamond. I say inside intel. We recorded it so many months back now. I can't actually remember what we spoke about. I remember it was a huge ton of fun because since we last sat down to record, all these artists, all the sketch card artists, have been given the green light to share their sketches. Oh.
It's been insane.
Gee.
I know. They're all next level.
It is absolutely next level. I mean, it's the kind of next level that you expect from Premiere.
Yep.
That I think maybe it's fair to say that for a lot of collectors, Premiere 19 didn't quite deliver on.
Yeah, there was tons and tons of complaints about that. And I do think, there were some misses there.
Yeah.
But I think, you get to the premium product, you need to be more selective and you know what I mean? And I think they're pulling that off with Black Diamond.
Yeah.
I mean, is it that big of an artist list? I remember looking at it. It was over 100, wasn't it? Maybe.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you.
Specific character cards, I think, too.
Yes, it is. Yeah. I haven't actually looked at the artist list. I think there's two types of sketch card. There's an exquisite one, and I have a feeling that that's the one that's character named.
Specific, I think you're right.
And then there's a Black Diamond one, and I think that's generic because I know I've seen a Black Cat, for example, on that stock. But they don't. I mean, a box and a pack are the same thing as with Premier, and it's $350, and you get 6 cards, but it's not guaranteed a sketch per pack. Strike box. I think it's 1 in 3 for one of the types of sketches, and I think the other type of sketch is maybe a little bit scarcer. I have a feeling the exquisite is the scarce one.
I would assume exquisite is always considered the highest brand, one of the highest brand card things.
So top tier product, and obviously, and I do remember that we hadn't talked about that when we spoke to Grant. I don't remember him telling us about there being 2.
No, I don't think we got a chance to. Man, that was an information overload. That was so much fun.
Yeah, no, it was. I need to re-listen to it actually. It'd be like going back in time. It'd be like listening to a conversation you forgot you'd had, which is kind of effectively what it will be.
Kind of. Yeah.
So this week, Norrin.
Oh boy.
This week is the second of our You Ask, We Answer.
Amazing.
This is the best game show thing ever. It goes on a bit, so I'm going to fade it out. It goes on for 2 minutes like that.
2 minutes.
How enthusiastic is that theme tune? I mean, seriously, I'm going to fade it up. It's still going.
It's in it. It's like ready to experience life at its fullest.
I mean, properly. I mean, that theme tune is living its best life. So, because we didn't get through all the questions.
No, we didn't.
Last time. I should probably pull them up on screen so that we can see which ones we missed. So I'm going to start with one that's actually been asked openly on MMC since then. And this is specifically talking about Marvel Masterpieces 2022.
Oh, boy.
Now, whoever is working on it is already working on it.
Oh, for sure.
Okay. However, Alex Paulus. Hello, Alex.
Alex.
Which artist would you like to see chosen for the next set? Wow. And so yeah, I'm just going to find that there's been a question posed today on the group separately, with people asking who would you like to see work on a set. So I'm going to pull that up while your brain box is.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Going around
this one. There was a lot of good lists, a lot of good people on that list.
Yeah, I it was actually yesterday. I think I saw it, and I haven't answered it yet because I had a bit of a because I was still in post-vaccine mode. I was I was a little bit foggy of head. Now, foggy of head. Where is it? We've got group topics in MMC and in the other group that people don't generally. I think some people know about them, some people don't. But it's a really good way of indexing the posts, and I've already got one for MM 2022.
You beast. Right.
So someone else has asked. In fact, yeah, there's 2 posts, but this one, Robert Ackerman III, wanted to pose a question for the whole group. Which artist would you most like to do a future MM set? So before we dive into what people have suggested, anyone spring to mind on the top of your head, Norrin?
Funny enough, the person he picked out was somebody I would have liked, Esad Ribic. He did Silver Surfer Requiem, the cover work for that.
That's right.
And,
That's right.
And the panels, and it's just, and he does the Thor series as well. It's just a very beautiful watercolor. One of my particular favorites as well. And I could see that style being very, very interesting, and very distinct look to it as well. So that's a good one. There were some other really cool people on Instagram
Artist.
Federico. Yeah, well, yeah, sorry. So Federico something, I forgot the last name now. It's mentioned there by somebody in the comments. But there's some great people that can be chosen for this for sure.
There are. I mean, the go-to, the one that's come up a lot recently from more than one person is Alex Ross.
Yeah.
I would love to see Alex Ross do any card set, especially a Masterpieces one. I just don't know if at this point in his career he'd want to do one.
That's always been my worry too. Like, I think it's a great suggestion and I would love to see it. And we've seen his work on cards.
Yes.
You know what I mean? In particular series, and so forth. But, to see him do a full set of each character, I definitely think it's a major undertaking for major artists. And whether he has time in his schedule or if Upper Deck has the money to commission him to do such a massive
that's what I have a feeling his rates are probably up there.
Yeah, his rates are probably at the very top. The other person whose rates are pretty top, who I would like to see too, but it would be Gabriel Delotto.
Oh, yes. Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, that's a phenomenal artist who would be great on the set. But you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know if they'll be able to get him, honestly.
Yeah. Someone suggested Mark Brooks, and Mark Brooks's work is just phenomenal. I'm just going to get up on screen a Black Cat variant cover he did, which I own actually, but it's not near me. Just so you can see it. This is just phenomenal. Come on, hurry up. Oh, it's not brought up full size. Look at that. Can you see that?
Yes. Oh, that looks awesome.
Isn't it astonishing? I'll put this in the tasting notes for folks. Mark Brooks does really good stuff, but he's mainly seems to be variant covers I've seen his work on. I don't remember seeing him having done kind of like a book or necessarily. I think he's more portraits and covers, things like that.
A lot of these artists are major like portrait artists and stuff like that.
Yeah. And then, of course, it's kind of the top people that you see doing variant covers, which I find is quite interesting, that a lot of people have suggested, like Adi Granov. Adi Granov would be amazing. His Instagram.
Yeah, I mean, that would be wonderful. Yeah.
Or Artgerm, Stanley Artgerm.
Artgerm's really great. Definitely great.
So Delotto's in the list, Ribic. And then interestingly, someone's thrown in some kind of more familiar names in terms of the card world. Cat Staggs. Cat Staggs would be pretty amazing.
Oh, for sure.
Cat Staggs.
There's a lot of
sketch cards.
That's right. I owned one of hers.
Oh, wow.
At one point. Great piece. Yeah, Heroes and Villains. Really great piece. For sure.
Bella Ashlyn. Bella would be amazing.
Bella's good.
Rhiannon Owens. This is one I'm not familiar with. Tula Lotte. Someone suggested
I've seen that work, but that artist's name, but I can't picture it in my head either.
Yeah, more than one person has said Alex Ross. Someone suggested one here. It's Andre, actually. Andre Orsch has suggested.
That's the person.
A list of people. Riccardo Federici.
That's it.
Federici.
Riccardo Federici. That person's just phenomenal.
Someone has suggested Frank Cho, and I'm like, yes.
That's a good
one. I love Frank Cho's work. I really love it.
That's a good one.
And if you're on that kind of spectrum of people, Greg Horn would be a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah, he did some amazing Elektra and Ms. Marvel covers back in the noughties for Marvel. Really top end stuff.
Really, that's amazing. There's Ben Harvey, who's on Instagram, whose stuff I believe, is that who it is? I believe so. Whose stuff I really like and I think would look really cool. And then the Federico is no, it's not that. How do you say it? Riccardo Federici.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
Just phenomenal. That's the person I would be really excited to see as well.
I tell you what, I've got a load of new follows here in terms of some of these artists, because some of them I'm just not as familiar with, so I'll be hunting them down. Someone has suggested Mick and Matt Glebe, who would be an excellent choice. And someone has actually suggested Andre Olsch, which would be absolutely amazing to see, or Art of FX.
Yeah, I'd like to see those kind of be like Flair. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Inserts kind of people.
Yes.
Like I could see that stuff really working there well too. And someone suggested bringing back like the MM93 multiple artist set type of thing.
Yes, a collaboration.
I personally would like that. Yeah.
Here we go. I hadn't spotted this, but someone has suggested the person I would like it to be. But before I get to that, I'm going to read out a few of the other suggestions. Yes, I think that'd be great because I don't know if you saw, I did a little video of my MM 2007 set just on the group because someone asked about.
Oh, awesome! I have to look at that.
It's I just kind of went through the binder
Went
just
through
to
your
show
binder.
people.
That must be cool.
Because a lot of people didn't know about the case topper.
Those are beautiful.
And I was saying that I like the set because, and you remember when we spoke to Bob Budiansky, it was never the intention from the original concept of masterpieces back in the 90s, albeit, yes, things can change and Upper Deck can do what they want. They never intended to limit it to just one artist per year. And obviously 93 immediately widened it out. 94, it's actually 2 artists.
It is 2 artists.
So it was 95 was 4 artists, 96 was 2 artists. So so 2007 has an enormous range of styles and artists, and although it was an original art with very few exceptions, I think there's a few pieces of original art in there. Joe Jusko's is original. There's an enormous range of artists there, and I think that is why I like that set. Is why I like the 93 set, is because I love an artist-focused set, but I also like the variety.
I like the variety.
And I think the variety with the format and set structure they've got now would actually be really intriguing, how they'd structure it.
I liked how they brought that multiple artist thing into Flair. And kind of like, you know what I mean? Did that there a bit. Yeah. Instead of having it in masterpieces. And I mean, honestly, 93, MM93 is one of my favorites.
It's seriously underrated.
In terms of art, I think it's beautiful. I think there's some great pieces in there. I think the majority of it has great, memorable pieces for me. I like what they're doing with Flair. Having one artist with masterpieces. I don't know what they're going to do and how they're going to pursue it in the future, or what level of artists they're going to take. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's the next interesting thing because, we have Jusko, who's the godfather of this, right? Then you have Bianchi, who is, a comic book artist, a very well-established European comic book artist and American artist. And then you have, Palumbo, which comes on the side of fantasy art, similar to like MM96. Bob Ross.
Sorry, I'm scrolling down before we've got to it because I didn't mean to put you off there, but
No, that's perfect. I guess that's just what I mean. Like, I wonder what the next tier level, you know what I mean? What kind of artists they're going to pull.
I know
what the background's going to be.
Oh, it's a difficult one. I will get to who I think it might be in a moment. Someone suggested KO Cacao, and I think KO is amazing. I'd love to see him.
Great, yeah. I'm loving everything. I think he's great for Flair Ultra. Yeah, I love the way what he's doing for Flair Ultra.
And that's what I like about Flair Ultra is, again, you have that mix of artists. You have your Tom Flemings. You have your
Flair Ultra needs to stay original. That's important.
Oh yeah. And the thing is, we know there's a Flair Ultra Avengers set coming because Travis. Those works are probably all done.
I would imagine so.
Yeah, because they're original art. So, your lead time needs to be a little bit more on those, I think.
They have to be.
Someone has suggested Boris and Julie again. I can't see Boris and Julie doing it again. I'm pretty sure we asked them if they'd do it again. I think
no, they do. I think they do an insert set if it ever came down to it.
Possibly.
But the time for them to do something has kind of passed. Yeah. Because that, you know what I mean? The 2020 set would have been the perfect way to get them in there.
So Bob Ross. So who's Bob Ross again? Should I know who Bob Ross is?
So Bob Ross is the American painter who did those that television series where he was drawing landscapes.
Oh, okay. Oh, right.
He was very sweet, very gentle, right? Very hippie, very, very kind man. So he did, very much in the same vein as Rogers.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
We had one of those. He was an Australian that settled in the UK called Rolf Harris.
Rolf Harris.
Yeah, and he was famous for doing that.
That's awesome.
Then ended up going to prison for sexual abuse about 7-8 years ago. So anyway, moving on. So someone said Bob Ross with a parallel set of each character done as a squirrel by Andre Orsh.
That's pretty funny.
Now it makes sense. Now it
makes sense. Little squirrel.
And this is a really good idea. And I'm wondering if this could actually be a separate set. Also, it would be good to have an anniversary set where they bring everyone back. Just go Boris, Julie, De Vries, Palumbo, Bianchi, etc. Call it MM Legacy. I really like that idea.
That would be a cool idea for sure.
Can you see them dropping 2 sets? Like a Masterpieces 2020 and then an MM Legacy set. There's like a 30th anniversary set. I'd buy that for
I think
as long as they
everybody would
didn't
drop
release
down.
them both in September, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great idea.
I like that. Freddie's been mentioned a few times.
Pat King would only do this if they wanted to make $84 million.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, they probably would.
Yeah, that's true. That would be a great idea is to do MM Legacy. I mean, are we coming up on an anniversary? What is
it's the 30th anniversary next year of Just Go Set. So
crazy.
It's kind of like, which makes everyone feel old. Fred Ian's been suggested again. Fred, bless him, whenever this is mentioned, and he's often tagged and has this thrown at him, he very humbly says that he doesn't think he's up to it. Well, Fred, mon ami,
I hate to disagree with you, brother.
I beg to differ. We'd love to see you there, but you're a beautiful, humble man, and thank you for being you.
Those new sketch cards he did for Black Diamond.
Yeah. I think we've talked about this, but if we haven't, I'm going to repeat again. I'm pretty certain Fred Ian is on Unbound.
Yeah.
That APAC exclusive set that we talked about.
That's what I think.
Yeah. So my choice, which someone has actually suggested here, who I think it might be, is Eric Gist.
I was wondering. I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Ian Gist.
Who we spoke to back on episode...
I think he'd be great.
I think he'd be brilliant. I know he was not sure if I'm even supposed to say, but I know he was hopeful of working on more Marvel stuff with Upper Deck. So
I hope he's working on more Marvel stuff. That'd be a shame if he wasn't. Just like Cacao. Like I think they'd be missing a beat. You know, and Peach. I mean, Peach has anime. You know, I think there are a lot of breakout artists for Flair. And Geist. Is it Geist or Geist?
You know what? We spoke to him. We should know this. I think it's Geist.
Geist. I think Geist is great.
It's Geist.
I love his work.
I think he's a lovely guy as well.
The sweetest. Super nice.
Go back and listen, people. He's a really, really lovely fella.
That was an awesome episode too.
He's gone a bit quiet on Instagram. So I'm wondering.
He's working.
Yeah, I'm wondering. I'm wondering if they've got him chained to an easel.
I wouldn't be surprised.
So yeah, so my choice is Eric Gist.
That's great.
Geist. Sorry,
I think that's awesome.
Eric, I feel really bad because he did actually speak to. You know what? Shall I just go and quickly find the episode and let's play the intro and hear how you pronounce his name? Let's quickly do that. Hang on a sec.
I like to see more sketch card artists do like insert sets, like Perna and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Wouldn't that be cool? I think that would look cool.
Yes.
I feel like they did that really cool. For Marvel Premiere. Nar did the emotion set.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Yeah. And it's happened a couple of times where they got sketch card artists to do like a small insert set.
Yeah.
I think that should come back. That's always really cool to see.
Definitely. So Eric was on episode 57. 57. So let's actually play a little bit of this and hear how you pronounce his surname. I can't believe we forgot. Come on.
Hi, I'm E.M. Gist, and you're listening to the Marvel Card Collectors Podcast.
It's Gist. Oh,
Gist.
Okay, stop. There we go. Gist. Right. Gist, not Geist. Or Gist. Gist. Eric, thank you for being patient with us.
Gist. I got to commit that to memory.
Oh, my goodness me. Right. So what other questions did we have? Let's have a look. See. So the artist for the next set.
Covered.
So this was from Tony Perner, this question, and this is why I didn't want to rush this one into the last half an hour of last week, because I thought we could be going on for this for a little bit. Tony Perner of Canada asks, do you think inserted sketch cards have run their course? Seems like the hot tickets, in speech quotations, are the PMGs and slabbed base cards. Interesting.
Sketch cards have run their course.
Do you think inserted sketch cards have run their course?
Does he mean like in terms of like desirability in the third market, or does he mean like being like the hot ticket item in a box?
I think the latter, actually, because he's then saying the hot tickets are the PMGs and slabbed base cards.
Yeah, right. So context wise. Yeah.
So I guess it's kind of a little bit of both, because the slab base cards is obviously a secondary market thing.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of. Yeah, I mean, for me, and this is something I want to ask you, Ian. Funny enough, I think sketch card prices have gone kind of insane. With anime, they're starting to finally come back down, but I feel like every sketch card I see now is above $200. On eBay or whatever. At least for anime, it feels like they're just so crazy. And in terms of like, so it's weird because this is so tricky, because then you have to say like, well, how do you value a sketch card? You know what I mean? Because it is very subjective. And like, I think at this point we're leaning over into like personal opinion type of stuff. Like me personally, I've slowed down on sketch cards, because it at this point they've gotten so expensive and they're such a commitment from me that I have to completely be blown away for me to run after one. Yeah. And that's just where I've gotten in my collection. You know what I mean? That's just where I'm at right now. I'm like hunting, the stuff that is impossible to find, because that's where I'm at the end of this very long road. So that for me, that's my thing with sketch cards. I think sketch cards will become a thing for people once people realize that the greats have worked on sketch cards.
Yeah.
Like Cena, Stanley, like when people start to realize that there are actual sketch cards out there with comic book artists, and there's a legacy there.
The OG sketch cards.
Like when finally
they were sketches.
When there were sketches and not fully colored, you know what I mean? Like where they were inks and pencils and blue line remarks. Yeah. And I think people, once they discover that and they're like, oh, wait a minute, this has been here all along, I think things will change very quickly. But people don't know that. And it's mostly because there are a lot of black holes and a lot of collectors that, they just don't come on the market. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're impossible to find because people don't want to give them up, because usually who has them are original comic book artists, original comic book art collectors.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Those are the people who kind of like lock them down very quickly at that stage in time. I think we've had a great talk, Ian and I, about like what should be a hot ticket item because of all the sketch card controversy and the lack of pay and stuff. And, like, I think Ian and I agreed on this, at least for me, what I would like to see the future be is that we limit how many artists work on sketch cards, and those artists get paid better. And we limit the amount of pulls, 2 to 3 a case. I think that should start becoming normal. And I think they should limit the list of artists and pay people properly, and then find other forms of inserts to put in there, archive cuts, PMGs, autos, you know what I mean? And, that would be my hope, because I think it needs to diversify a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, there's two kind of ways to look at a hit. And I guess I'm going to talk about a hit on the Star Wars side of things. So on Star Wars, when you get the manufactured hits, they're usually some bizarre medallion with an insignia. And weirdly, in my head, and I think I don't really know what the difference is here, so I think it's just a personal thing, but I don't dig those at all. And yet, if I've got a patch card from a Marvel set, although it is a manufactured hit, generally speaking, it usually usually appeals a bit more, probably because it's Marvel and that's what I'm into. Although I love Star Wars, don't get me wrong. But also, they tend to have chosen, like Flair's a great example. The pieces of Flair cards where they did the corner boxes.
Yeah, those are nice.
Cards. They're really nice. They're one of the nicest cards in Flair. I mean, some people can't stand them, but I really love them. If I bought a box and that was my main hit, though, as a manufactured hit, I'm not sure on that one. I do like the autographs. I think autographs of artists and who've either worked on the card sets or autographs of the comic creators whose art is used. So I'd put that. I guess you've got two columns here. You've got genuine hits and manufactured hits. Okay. So obviously on the genuine hits, you've got all the one-of-one stuff like sketches,
autos, like rare
plates, autos. Yeah, if they are one of. So if an artist is.
I
like
see what
Peach,
you're saying.
Yeah. So if an artist like Peach, for example, has signed 120 of each card, I wouldn't put that in the one-of-one column necessarily, although we've only got two columns. So that, but I'd put it in the genuine column because it is, it is a different card. It's got a different, it's created differently.
So one-of-one is genuine hit. In this column.
Yeah, any one-of-one would go in the genuine hit column. Anything autographed, I would put in the genuine hit column. For example, we often talk about how Beginnings is a very underrated set in some of the autographs.
Majorly.
But there are quite a lot of some of the autos out there. Some of them are very limited, but some of them, are more common than others.
I wish there was a number. I can't find it.
There isn't. They simply didn't do it.
I just have no idea where that is.
Yeah, they simply didn't do it. But it's still a genuine hit because it is, and they were signed on card as well.
Oh yeah, baby.
So that's kind of a little extra. Oh, je ne sais quoi. To add to the mix. Mon petit fil of pastry. I'm watching a slabbed comic that's ending in a moment on eBay in 13 minutes time, and I really want it.
Put a timer on. We'll slow down.
I'm there. I'm watching it on my phone right now.
Yeah, but put a timer on in case we get caught up, so you don't.
No. I'm just. You know what? I'm going to bring it up on screen so I can show you because I don't think I'm going to buy this one because I haven't got the money. But what I want to do is to show you because it's one of the best variant covers of Black Cat I think I've seen in a long time, and it is by Pepe Larraz.
Oh, I know Pepe Larraz.
Pepe Larraz does actually sound like some sort of lounge singer from a cruise line.
I think of Looney Tunes.
Why is this not loading? Come on, eBay, load. Oh, the people are loving this. Anyway, so while I'm waiting for eBay to load up on my shite computer, what's going on?
No, I think that makes sense. Like manufactured and then genuine pack hits.
Yeah.
There's a major difference there for me because I would not be happy with the patch being my major hit. Excuse me.
Oh, you're right there.
Yeah, sorry, love. Yeah, I don't think that wouldn't be something I would like.
Would you look at that? Would you look at that picture?
Character study.
Isn't it brilliant?
Looks good.
Slabbed. Because I'd want it just for the cover. Sorry,
that's what's good about these variant covers.
Yeah,
man.
I'll put this in the tasting notes, but it is amazing.
It's very pretty.
It's just my perfect.
It's on gray paper, white and black paint, I believe, and just sketched around. It's just lovely. Some nice inks. Beautiful piece.
It's just, I love it. I love all
that kind of stuff, man. Remember back in the day, the Marvel Universe Handbook? Oh, it had the characters and the positions. Yeah,
they kind of had the mugshot kind of poses.
Yeah. I love that. I love that little character study. I love that so much.
Which is so much fun. Which is great. So anyway, that's about to end on eBay, folks. And by the time you hear this, it will have long ended. I don't think I can muster up. I don't think I can muster up $80 for it right now. Anyway, so in terms of hits, in terms of sketches, I think we already are at 2 to 3 per case, actually. Anime which is why the anime prices are higher. And also because, that brought in a lot of people from that collecting world who probably hadn't chased after sketch cards much before.
I agree.
anime, really tickled the ivories of people who aren't the normal guys who go after sketches. But it also really, really lit a fire under some people who go big on sketches. I mean, we were talking to Matt
there's
Fuller
a
the other week.
huge. We're trying with the group to get these collectors into our world as well, so we can all hang out, trade, and stuff like that. But there are major deal collectors, card collectors specifically in China and in Japan. Like next level kind of people. Yeah. Where, pretty much where everything is that we can't find over here, they kind of have locked it down over there.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So, that's kind of nice to bridge those two worlds together. And maybe that's part of those prices. Which would make sense.
Absolutely. But have they run their course? I don't think they've run their course. I think, to put it mildly, and I would like to have someone from Upper Deck come on and talk about this. I think Upper Deck, I'm going to say it now, I think Upper Deck needs to start treating artists better, sketch card artists better. I don't think we've openly talked about this on the show, but it's very open all over the groups on Facebook. You've got a lot of sketch artists who are unhappy, who feel they've been badly treated, who are not getting communications from Upper Deck, on top of the fact they're not paid very much. And the worst part of it is the blanket rejections of cards by Marvel, which there seems to be absolutely no recourse for at all. Because if that happens, the artist doesn't get paid for it, and they've put in, in some cases, hundreds of hours of work on this batch of sketch cards that will be rejected in their absolute entirety, with no reason given and no opportunity to get a reason from Marvel for that.
Better housekeeping, better communication. You can't. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, if you're, it's funny too, because like, in a strange way, if an artist's sketch card is going to be the hit of your box, then that's your primary focus as a company, right? Those are the people you cater to. Those are the people you treat nicely, because they're the ones who are giving you the box appeal. You know what I mean? In some regard, if it's one sketch card per box, that's a pretty big, contribution.
That's why Masterpieces does so well.
Yeah. I agree. And I think, looking at Premiere's, the product is sketches. You know what I mean? So having this kind of lack of communication, or, these kind of horror stories going around, which are not minimal. No. I think it's problematic. Yeah. I think that's an issue. And I know they've done stuff, like they're working on ways to correct this. And I know there has been pieces that have been moved around to fix this issue. Yeah. Yeah. So this is something that has been addressed and is being addressed. Hopefully it gets addressed to the point where this will never have to be like a conversation again.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't want to go into it too much, because I think you and me know more than where we'd be.
Well, I was thinking about like the Andre Osh
that I would want to say. But this is why I want someone from Upper Deck who works on overseeing the sketch card side of the business to come on the episode and talk to us about it. Maybe, throw up some responses to some of the tougher questions, because, we're seeing, a lot of people that are fan favorites who are saying they won't work on another set again. So it's interesting, when you say, do you think sketch cards have run their course? It's like, I know there's a queue of artists who would probably be really up for working on sketch cards. There are some budding artists in our community who would love to get on there, but I don't know. Yeah. I just think they need to treat them better. Any other business, it's like, it's like
they're just going to evolve.
Yeah.
Like, my answer would be that I just think they're going to evolve into something that we are not used to, similar to how they did from Silver Age comic creators. You know what I mean? I think they're just going to turn into something else, and that something else is going to be 2 to 3 a case, and the artists are going to be handpicked and better curated for each set. And I think particular artists will be on certain sets and particular artists will be on other sets. Yeah. And I think there's going to be a tier system there.
Yeah. You can definitely manage it. You can definitely manage it better. That's for sure. Okay. Well, listen, I don't think they've run their course. Yes, PMGs are hot tickets, and you're about to have a set with lots of them in X-Men Metal Universe whenever that does land. Slabbed base cards. Well, I've kind of only been keeping half an eye on this. My understanding is PSA have stopped accepting submissions at the moment. Is that right?
Yeah. So what's going on there is that PSA has stopped accepting submissions on the first, second, and third level. And that are price points like $12 a card, the $25 a card, a $30 a card, and then $50 or $65 a card. So there's tiers, ways of getting your card through PSA on a quicker time frame. And the only ones they have open right now are like the $300 level card.
Wow.
And the reason for that is because a lot of people are, and we saw this with Marvel recently, cards became really big and everybody was like, well, everyone was like, well, I need to get my cards graded because the grade is going to, make sure and guarantee some kind of value there. So PSA cut that off. I think it was pretty smart. I think it's going to get everybody's cards back to them quicker. And I do think a lot of grading companies are going to start coming out of the woodworks and offering certain things. And I think you're going to have like a tier system with grades soon. You know what I mean? PSA, BGS, and then it goes down to the other ones, But slab based cards, that's everywhere else in card world deals with slabbed cards. Mm-hmm. It's not a coincidence that's happening with Marvel and wrestling and Star Wars. Everywhere else deals with slab cards.
Wrestling. You know what? There's a whole area of sports cards collecting that I'm aware tons. That happens, but I'm just like, it's so not on my radar at all.
It's crazy. Well, it's not on any Marvel collector's radar. And I think that's the issue we have in the group with people trying to figure out.
Yes.
Yeah. Which I feel bad, because I see other people. I mean, we just dealt with this recently. Well, you did. I just saw your message, but like people are, seeing the slabbed card thing and they're like, this is stupid. I don't understand why someone's card will be worth more. I can get this for $1. And
it's been happening in sports for years.
Yeah, man. It's it's stupid crazy. Yeah. Like I had no idea either until I went to a card show. And then I just went to one and I swear, dude, it's all slabbed. Wow. You know what I mean? Like very rarely, like raw cards are basically dollar bin comic books. To think about it in that perspective. Yeah. Like that's how crazy it is.
Wow. Okay.
So it's a whole new thing over there, man. It's nutty.
Interesting. I tell you what, I'm glad I got into the NFL stuff on a little bit when I did, because it opened my eyes massively to how.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. You were doing that stuff. I remember.
And I'm only really, in our show notes, actually, I haven't managed to catch any for a while, but in our show notes each week, I include the Hobby Hotline, which is a kind of a live stream show. And it's primarily focused on sports. And I started listening to it around the start of, just before the start of lockdown, actually, when COVID kind of hit. And it was, they were fairly new at that point. It's in our show notes every week. And some of the stuff, just hearing the trends is fascinating.
It is really interesting.
Because they obviously, a lot of the guys there go for investment over anything else. A lot of the guys buy stuff, slab it, put it away, and then keep it for a few years, like laying down bottles of wine or port. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they treat it very much like that, because there are people who buy bottles of port and lay them down for 20 years and then sell them for 20 times the price. That happens all the time.
It's a bunch of weird stuff.
And I think we mentioned this, one of the episodes, someone was doing a phone in and someone was actually advocating that you sell your 10s and keep your 9s. On the investment side of things. So if you want to keep stuff, keep your 9s and sell your 10s. Said that to any of the guys who are currently going after Marvel stuff, they'd be like, you're kidding me, man. 10 is where it's at. It's like,
yeah, but if you're PCing something and you want to,
I suppose,
you know what I mean? It just depends. I mean, all this stuff is so interesting and it's so different. And so many people have different ways of approaching the hobby. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just such a mountain. Yeah, of course. I mean, that's always been our mantra. And I think that's why we always have fun with this stuff. And it never gets to the point where, someone's losing a house.
Enjoy collecting, folks. That's what we always say. I don't know if you'd noticed.
I don't know if you noticed.
I don't know if you noticed. Oh, I've got 53 seconds to go on this comic. Do I buy it? I don't know.
How much was that now in US?
No, it's the starting bid. Starting bid is about $80. It is lovely. don't know. 40 seconds to go, Nora. What do I do?
I mean, it depends, right?
I have actually got a little bit of PayPal. I managed to sell something.
I don't think that's going to be the only one you see graded at that grade.
It's not, to be honest with you, it's not the grade I'm fussed about. I mean, it's a new book, so it literally went straight to grade. I don't think it even went to retailer. They submit it directly.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, I've got a feel like that. Yeah.
But
I mean, $80. Has anybody else bid on it? You're going for it?
I'm having it. I don't think anyone's going to buy it. I know I love the cover, and it'll be a lovely display piece.
Done then.
I mean,
there you
you're not
go.
losing money.
That's my first graded Fat Cat comic book.
Oh shit!
Hang on,
the sickness has started.
There we go. Right, that is literally for display only. So
that's awesome.
Okay. Oh, sweating now.
Congratulations, man. That's awesome.
Thank you very much.
It's a beautiful cover.
Thank you very much. It is lovely. It properly tickles my wheelhouse.
It's nice.
And the second to last question for this week, because we saved some biggies, you see. So I've got some stuff I want to show you. Ken Baxter asks, Ken Baxter of the Otis Elevator Company. I was hoping when you hover over his name, I was hoping it'd come up where he's from, like Austin, Texas, or
instead of where he works,
or Michigan, or whatever it's called. But no, it came up with
Michigan.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there is a place called Michigan. I just invented it. Don't know. Right? No. I'm hoping some listeners will have heard this. Maybe you didn't, but Kevin Pollak, the actor and stand-up comedian, used to do a chat show, and it was called The Kevin Pollak Show. Funny, great name. And he used to do it as a live stream thing. And this started when live stream things, it's probably around 2010, maybe. And he ran it for about 10 years. And it would be literally an open-ended conversation of somewhere in New York, and he'd have actors, directors, writers come in. I mean, I saw the most brilliant interview he did. It was like 3 hours long, where he was just talking to the lead guy at Mad Men, for example. And they just have a long-form conversation, and they have fun with it. But anyway, one of the things he did was he had every guest play his he had a little game called the Larry King Show, where you have to do your best Larry King, God rest his soul, because he passed away recently. You have to do your best Larry King impression. You had to make up a vaguely rude sounding name. And you had to respond and overshare a personal bit of health information about yourself. So it's kind of making light of the fact that Larry King would often do that, at least, anyway, it's very funny. But one of the things they used to do is people used to make up place names in America. So, and that's where I got that from.
I feel like the Actor Studio had something similar to this.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
that's great though.
So on the show notes, I'm going to include some video links to the Larry King game.
Right.
In fact, you know what? As we're actually recording, I'm going to find some Larry King game right now, and we're going to play. We're going to play some. What do you mean?
Are we really going to play some?
Are we? Do you not want to play any Larry King game? You don't want to play any Larry King game, do you? Never mind. We'll move on. I'm sad now. Right. Next question. Next question is Ken Baxter. How about we talk about how prices have increased on the early stuff of the 90s and when the bubble might burst? I know.
So the beauty of the 1996 mm.
Also the beauty of the 96 mm. I know you've been talking about nothing else on this one, on everything I've seen you talking about because you've been guesting on other stuff as well quite a bit, haven't you?
I guested on one thing.
Ginger Man.
I haven't done a tour.
I think it's because when I see your video content, you're often touching on it. That's why.
Well, yeah. So like I did an Instagram live video of a Ghostbuster card I got.
Oh, yeah.
That I was really excited about. That was the Ray Stantz, so Dan Aykroyd's autograph Ghostbuster card that I've been wanting for like years. And finally one came up that I really wanted because it was a special one where he wrote Boo on it. And I'm a huge Ghostbuster fan. Yeah. So I was like, I'm going to grab it. So I did a little unboxing video and someone
people were asking the questions, like what was going on or whatever. So I talked a little bit about it, my thoughts on the whole bubble thing. And then our friend who's on YouTube, Gingy Man is very nice. He's in your neck of the woods. I'm surprised.
He is.
Yeah, so
I need to reach out to him actually. Gingy Man, come on the show.
Please do, because he hit me up and he was like, "Oh my gosh, you and Ian are awesome," and he was super nice. And I was like, "Well, we should do something." And he was like, "Oh man, I'd love to have you on or Ian or whenever or whatever." I was like, "Well, what do you want to do now?" He was like, "I'm free." So we ran on. Literally, that's what happened. So. I did the live video, and then 2 minutes later we did his thing live, because he was online. He was just online, and he was like, "Well, come on." I was like, "Okay." So then, he wants to come on here and interview you separately for his channel.
Because the thing is, you didn't have to redo your makeup. You had your lighting set.
No, he was just like, "Yeah, let's go."
Spot
and I was
on.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
And I felt bad. I think it was later for him, but he was like, "Let's just do it." And I was like, "All right, I'm in." So you'll go on there for sure, and then we'll have him on here, and then
well, you're moving house next weekend, so I've not got anything planned. So I might go.
Please do.
I might see if he's around.
Like he wants to talk to you. No,
all right.
No, you'll have a blast. You guys will have a blast.
Yeah,
and then be in the same neck of woods. All this stuff will be fun. Why did I tell you all this?
Because I'd seen you talking about this very subject on that live stream. Then,
so that's what he was asking me, because he does like daily checks. So there's a site you can check called 130 Point, and there are other ones where you can see like where you can see like the actual prices of things that they went for on eBay and stuff like that. So the question is, how about we talk about how the prices have increased on the early stuff of the 90s? Okay, so early stuff in the 90s, we've been talking about this for a long time. When we had Amanda on back in the day.
Yeah.
Right? Where we were like, I mean, it's only natural. You know what I mean? You have a card that's been around for over 20 years, over 25 years.
30 some
You know
cases,
what I mean? Yeah, 30 in some cases. And then suddenly people are like, well, let me get into grading because I've hit the wall. I have nothing else to do with my collection. So let me have some fun with the grading. And people started grading cards, and people have been grading Marvel cards for a long time. And I think sometimes no one gave a shit.
Exactly.
Including some of our listeners, including guests we've had on here who are other collectors. Like, I'll never grade anything. I don't care. This is garbage.
Yeah.
And people have been grading for a long time. And that's another thing people were noticing. They were like, "Oh yeah, but like there's like super minty and they come out PSA 10 always," because they were looking at the pop reports. You know what I mean? And they were like, "Oh, there's plenty of 10s. Why would it matter?" And what they don't get is that the people who were grading them were the ones who have been grading sports cards. They've been grading a lot of different cards for a long time, like our friend Amanda and other people we know that do grading. And, people were specialized in this stuff. And, then all of a sudden the Gary V thing happened where he said it was underrated. And then here's the thing. And this is the last thing.
No, carry on.
This is the thing, right? What people don't realize is that when you go into different hobbies, there's always a buy-in when you approach a hobby. You know what I mean? You can either buy in really high and make that commitment, like Mr. Fuxham, who bought like half a product. You know what I mean? That's buying in high. You know what I mean? That's going only for really, really rare, exclusive stuff. And then you go trickle down the ladder. What people don't realize is that when people bought into sports and they were climbing the ladder, like I was saying before, which is basically means, like let's say I'm going to go into a card hobby and I eventually want to get Michael Jordan's rookie card, right? The Fleer Michael Jordan rookie card, right? Or Charizard. Let me actually bring up stuff I know what I'm talking about. So like a Charizard, which is like 400K.
Is that Pokemon?
Pokemon, right?
Okay.
So Charizard's like first edition Shadowless PSA 10. That's over $400,000 card. And you're like, all right, I got $5,000 here. Let me climb up the ladder. And basically what you do is you look for particular players in sports or whatever cards you're going to go into. And you're like, all right, if I go in for 50, I know I can sell it for 200. And then you just start building.
Yeah.
People have been doing that in sports for a long time.
It's part of the DNA of that hobby.
100%. Because and it's just like, you're betting on players. You're speccing on players, and half the fun of sports is
just like when you do horse racing betting.
Exactly. Very much in the roots of gambling.
Yeah,
which is what's always scary to me. You know what I mean? That's why I've never done it, because it is quite a bit of it's quite a bet. Anyway, so people have been doing this for a long time, and then Marvel became big because for a lot of people, sports and Pokemon, to be honest, got too expensive. It did. It got too expensive for people who like cards and who like graded cards. And they were like, well, this is just beyond what I can do now. And everyone looked to other things because everyone's home for the pandemic. And they're like, well, what's other cards that have been undervalued for a long time? And I believe, not that everybody agrees with me, I do think Marvel cards have been undervalued for a long time. You know what I mean? Not by true collectors. You know what I mean? People who've been collecting for a long time, we've always valued them. You know what I mean? But in terms of like mainline attention from card people, you know what I mean? Star Wars, Marvel, you know what I mean? A lot of these particular cards have been kind of like very niche. You know what I mean? Anyway, people decided to buy in, and they were able to buy in cheap by looking at Marvel and Star Wars. And that's where you got that influx from of the 90s stuff. Because the truth is, at one point, the only way you can get a card rarity to increase is either through grading or through buybacks, right? Putting a hard number on it or putting a graded number on it.
Yeah.
And I think that's just what everybody did. But, I think people get confused because they're like, oh, who would pay this for this? Who would pay this for this? Dude, this is like nothing for certain sports people. Like in perspective.
Yeah.
It just really isn't.
Yeah. I don't think, I think there's been a bubbly element of it. I think it's like anything. It's like a sigmoid curve. It'll go up and then it'll chill, but it'll be at high level. I think, I think it's not going to go back to
the tide has risen. Like there's no,
that. So, for anyone thinking, oh, I'll just wait and I'll be able to buy Marvel Universe 1990 box for $50 again in 2 years' time. You won't. Because by then, actually, the supply will genuinely have dried up. Yes, there were a lot of things. There were a lot of these boxes from the early 90s, but it's not an infinite supply. A lot of them were broken already. There's still a lot of them around, but that supply will eventually exhaust, because people are hunting
100%.
People are selling them. So the other thing I will say is that, just as a reminder, because I can't remember where I saw it now, but someone was thinking of buying a box of Silver Age to open. I opened some packs of Silver Age last year, and it stuck horribly.
Oh no! Really?
Yeah. Do you remember I bought all those loose packs of Silver Age, and they were, I think half of the cards had that white spotty from where they stick because it's gloss. So yeah, obviously you might be able to get the
Lucky.
You might be able to get a sketch card, because obviously that's one of the OG sets that had Synop, Stanley.
Yeah, it's one autograph,
Everett,
one sketch card a box,
kind of
right?
Thing. Yeah. So I think your hits are on different kind of stock, so they'll probably be okay. So if you're buying it for the hit, that's fine. But if you're buying it for the base cards to try and get them for grading of any kind, forget about it.
Yeah. And that's the thing about Marvel, man. You got to be really careful.
Yeah.
So many. That would be a really nice thing for someone to do, a little bit of a list of what tends to brick together and what doesn't.
Yeah.
Just to warn people, because I would hate for people. Like, that's why, like, some people always ask, oh, do I crack this box? Do I not crack this box? And for me,
depends on the box. That's what I mean.
That's my point. Yeah, that's what I always think of too. I'm like, it always depends on the box, because and sometimes you just want the memory back. You know what I mean? Like, I love that. Like opening a pack of something I haven't in a while. Like I have some 90s packs just sitting around because I'm like,
I've got one here. We'll open it in a minute.
For real?
Yeah, I've got one here.
That would be fun.
I will. You know what? I'm going to go and get it now. Hang on a second.
Do it. Oh, that's going to be fun. What a trip. Oh, that's crazy. But yeah, Yeah, so it definitely depends on the box. We should definitely do a list in the group to help people out.
Oh,
That's so crazy that you have that. That's so funny.
Someone sent me a sealed pack of something. So I'll I won't even tell you what it is yet. We'll do it in a minute.
Yeah, please keep the mystery alive.
So the bubble will burst as soon as I open this pack. No. Also, the beauty of 1996 Marvel Masterpieces. Well, listen to episode 50.
For sure.
We've oozed.
You'd love it, Ken. It was so much fun, man.
But yeah, no.
Beautiful set.
It is beautiful. It is a beautiful set. How are you getting on? How are you going on your set, by the way?
I'm actually super close. Yeah. Sounds super close. Okay, like crazy close.
Good. All right. Good. Famous last words.
Well, I actually got a Grail card. I don't think I told you yet. I was going to save it for the show. I don't know if you want to do it because
Tell me.
Sure?
I'm going to show you some stuff in a minute. Yeah.
Okay. All right. You're going to freak out.
All right. I'm going to stop sharing for this so that I can see properly because it tends to minimize you to a tiny little corner of my screen. And nobody puts Norrin in the corner. If anyone can name that movie reference, then they're more than welcome to do so. I am so going to put Larry King game after the end credits of this episode.
I think you should. No, we can still do it. We can still do it. All right, ready?
Yeah, show me. I'm really excited now. Oh, yes. Oh, it's beautiful. I am not worthy. All right, tell the listeners, Norrin.
So I finally got the Silver Surfer Green PMG 2013 Fleer Retro.
Oh, that's beautiful.
7 out of 10.
Oh, I was about to ask the number. That's the number. Lovely.
So it's a 7 out of 10.
Oh, we'll put pics of that on the tasting notes, folks. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's gorgeous.
So that's it. It's done.
Right. So for the benefit of those listening at home who might not be following along, what's done? What have you? Journey did you complete with that?
So this is not only the full rainbow of retro for Surfer that I have, because I have a printing plate as well and a sketch. So not only is that done, but in my mind, in terms of the rules that I made for my character collection, this is it. I finished the Silver Surfer one. Oh. So that's it. I think it, like in my mind, I think that's it. Like the only 2 cards I'm missing is the Silver Spectrum Auto from Marvel Masterpieces 16.
Yeah.
But I already have the What If Auto. So I have, and I have the buyback. So I have 1 auto from that set. So I think I'm okay. Sure. And then the Red Spectrum. But I think the 1 of 1 from that set, I have the plate. Well, I have the 4-color plate. Okay. So that's another tick. So for me, that's it. I did it. I got to the end of this mother flipping
mad respect
Silver Surfer journey. In my mind, I think I reached, like I'll pick up other stuff obviously, but yeah, that's it.
What? That's kind of got a nice symmetry to it because you're about to move home and you've been living there for years, as we talked about.
Nice little,
and that's actually a nice kind of chapter close.
Yeah,
that coincides. I quite like that. It kind of tickles my my romantic side of how I think about things. So,
I mean, I've been hunting the green PMG.
Oh, for the longest time, ever since I've known you.
Yeah, ever since we've spoken, which is how many years now?
2 years, easy.
Yeah. So I've been looking since 26. Yeah, I've been looking for a while.
Hang on a second.
No way.
Hang on a second. I have a feeling. Wow. Tomorrow, as we record, is the 3rd year anniversary of MCCW being created, which was the first group that started this whole thing.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Wow.
Is it really?
Yeah. I need to quickly do some visuals. Yeah. Tomorrow, 19th of April 2018, was when Marvel Global Fans, as it was then called, was created.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
That's nuts.
Blimey. I knew it was April and I just suddenly realized as I was looking at the date, I was like, oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. Well, that's been a journey, hasn't it? Crikey.
That's insane.
I think it's fairly safe to say I've spent more time on Facebook in the last 3 years than I've spent doing anything in the last 3 years. Including anyway, let's carry on. Right, share screen. Let's go back. I think we're almost done. almost done. And then we had a bonus question come through, which is a
bonus question.
So I'm going to go on. This is about card storage. And I know your answer for this. And I know everyone's answer will be different. So top loader versus 9-page insert storage. I'm a top loader guy, but I see a ton of people that put them in binders with their base sets. Do they penny sleeve before going into the 9-page? What's safer storage in the opinions of the masses? Well, I don't know about the masses, but so we do this very, very differently, don't we? So people will probably know. Briefly say what you do on yours.
So actually, funny enough, I did do a binder for the foreign stickers and game cards. Funny enough, because I couldn't, like, they're so obscure that I kept forgetting which ones I had. So I was double buying on eBay. And I was like, no, I can't do this. I need to flip through and see what I need. So that I really like doing. You know, my master prints and all that stuff, and like boxes folded down and sell sheets and all that stuff. I do the folders that usually put original artwork in, like those. Oh gosh, what are they called?
Art portfolios.
Art portfolio. So I do an art portfolio for them, an 8x10 art portfolio, which works out really well. And then like the Silver Surfer collection, all my high end stuff, I put in a Pelican case to keep like moisture and, you know, all that other stuff out, which helps a lot. And I do top loaders because I like thumbing through, because I feel like everybody has their own little card fantasy of how they want their cards around them. You know what I mean? Like some people want to sit in their library and open up a book and have all their cards there. I like the old like filing cabinet thing where you like thumbing through and you pick up a card in their top sleeve. You know what I mean? Like that.
I've got an image at the beginning of Ghostbusters where you're
when she pulls out she's looking through them. Yeah. And then like they get the goo on them. Whatever. Yeah. Yeah. So so I like thumbing. I like, you know, going through my cards. I like the feel of a top loader. I've had bad experiences with binders in the past, even though I love the way cards look in a 9-page binder. Yeah. Like you can't beat that. You know what I mean? Like it's so fulfilling to see like a full page, especially the ones you do, Ian. But yeah, so I do a Pelican case because I like my little boxes here and there. But I'm gonna actually get a little display at this new place. Yeah. Put some out.
You want to get a little cabinet?
I'm gonna
get a lockable cabinet with some lighting in there and stuff.
Yeah, with some lighting and stuff. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. So
that's
I'm
exactly
gonna find something like that. Yeah. It'd be nice, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I've come up with like how I want to display stuff, and like I got the Mandalorian helmet from Hasbro. So lovely. I'm gonna put that up, and then put like my Mandalorian rainbow, and then do that kind of fun stuff or whatever. But
nice.
That's my idea. But I always do penny sleeve into a 9-page, even though I know people don't. Yeah. But I do, preferably, and I do it in reverse.
Yeah, for the whole dust on the top thing, is that?
Yeah, so I keep the plastic on the top instead of having it open at the top. That way, if like I have my book standing in a bookshelf, dust is not pouring onto the card. It's pouring onto the surface.
Yeah. Okay. I've got this image of how dirty your house is if it's dust is pouring onto it.
Well, like if you keep
I know.
Right? Don't you have like dust on your books and stuff?
A little bit. I wouldn't say it's a massive amount.
Okay. I see what that is. Okay. Yeah, sure, Ian. Okay. Yeah. All right. Whatever.
I thought you had a cleaner. Comes in twice a week, sorts you out. Yeah.
I'm just bathing in money. That's why.
Yeah. As I think most people know, I'm a binder guy. I think there's a danger with binders. Obviously, don't overfill them. I never try and fit a whole set into one binder. You can buy 3.5-inch, 4-inch binders, but it will just damage the cards. So split it over two, 1.5 to 2-inch binders, I would recommend. I always use Ultra Pro Platinum. I just find that they're a little bit sturdier. They've got they give nicely to allow the thicker sets like Fleer Ultra Spider-Man and Masterpieces to slide in. I don't penny sleeve the cards. It's simply because I don't like looking through 2 layers of plastic. I often find that you can tell that there's a layer of plastic in there and there's a slight ripple to it. I do it on... there's a few cards that I've done it on. So, for example, my Rainbow foil from Fleer Ultra Spider-Man. That's double. That's penny sleeved and then in the 9 pocket. I'm the same with my plates. I've started to penny sleeve those now, and my 1 of 1 red Spectrum. But I don't top load stuff. I had a good go at doing some one touch storage, and I just like the ability to be able to flick through and see the 9-page layout. It really detracted for me the ability to enjoy my collection. So what I've done is I've focused on upgrading what I put that 9-page pocket in. So I've spent a lot of time last year researching binders with slipcases, which removes the need to do that double. That kind of top thing, because you haven't got the binder, the top of the binder isn't open to the air. It's in a slipcase, and I've started to buy slipcase binders that coin collectors use from a stockist in the UK, and I slide my masterpieces. I've got my 92 to 96. I've got my 2007 and my first Marvel Beginnings in one of those now. So I've started working through that. My Black Cat collection, as you know, I've got those metal cases, and I've got 2 of those, and they're the ones that that you can't get them anymore. But they were made by a brand who made them for DJs to take CDs to wherever they were going, and they've got 4 really sturdy rings in there, D rings. It's cushioned on the inside. It's combination lockable. It's sturdy as anything, and I've got one of those with my sketches in, and one of those with base, chase, parallel, numbered, serialed, and plates. So
I love it.
Yeah, so one for each. I could fit them all in one, but again, I'd be overfilling it. Even though it's a bespoke case, you can still overfill it. So, so that's what I do. Different people do different things. There is an element of my collection that I will be top loading. Whether I like it or not, he says, reaching down for this particular box, simply because they're too thick for 9 pocket pages. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I might go top loader binder for this, and it's my MCU relics.
Ooh,
these MCU relic cards,
pretty.
They're thicker than Fleer Ultra Spider-Man and MM for the most part.
Yeah.
They're lovely cards, but it doesn't matter what the set is. I've got them from Civil War. I've got them from Guardians of the Galaxy. I've got them from Guardians of the Galaxy again. I've got them from Spider-Man, and even some of these film cell ones from the Marvel Studios 10th anniversary.
I actually like those a lot.
Yeah, and that's a manufactured hit because, of course, this was probably it's probably all digital. This film, it's very unlikely it would have been made onto celluloid. And some of the coin cards get up there in thickness as well. So I think I'm going to be top loading that. I just need to figure out what they're going to go in before I have those
great top loader binders. I love those pieces.
I think I think they're quite expensive. That particular,
they're like $60, but they come with pages.
Yeah,
it's expensive. Yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah, I think it is expensive, especially when you consider the volume of the relic cards that I'm probably going to end up getting.
Yeah, man, you're going to be stacking a lot.
Someone did post on group. So on MCCW, we do have group topics, as I mentioned earlier, for MM 2022. There is one called Card Storage and Organising, and someone did share something where they had
I think the link
found a cheaper solution. Yeah. So
that's a cheaper solution one. Yeah, that's the Hallmark,
and it looked pretty,
something like
it
looked good.
Pretty cool.
It looked really good.
And that could be a good stopgap. So we have one more question that came in to me today, actually, on DM, and I said to the guy that I would mention it. So Dustin Wilder, who is on Instagram, and actually created a Facebook account just to join our groups. So welcome, Dustin. So he was asking. And this is something we've talked about in group, but I don't think we've talked about on the podcast. I've been collecting Marvel sketch cards for about 4 years now, and I honestly don't know anyone else who collects them. Everything I know has just been sort of picked up. I've never been active on Facebook and hardly know how to get around. I started this account just to join your groups. So I think the first thing to say is if you spend some time on there, you'll very quickly thank you. You'll very quickly meet people and learn stuff, because there's so much stuff going on in, well, all of the Facebook groups, but obviously MCCW is where I'm going to promote. But there's, sketch card fanatics as well. If you're specifically talking about sketch cards, that's a great group.
That's right. They're nice.
Lachlim and Rhiannon Owens, I think of it.
I love that. I love that they have that there. Yeah, I think that's really good. If you're an artist, that's definitely something I would be a part of.
Yeah, artists and collectors. It's really good.
Yes, artists and collectors.
So my question is this. I love commissioning artists to work on blanks. I never cared much if that artist actually worked on the set and sent them a blank from. I think I saw you say something about bootleg sketches. Most of my sketches are just by artists whose art I admire. Tony Perna, Danny Quang, etc. I'm curious to see, as the general thoughts concerning sketches like this, is this frowned upon? Sorry to bother you. I know you're busy. I just wasn't sure who to ask. And I'm like, that's absolutely great. We posted something recently on the group, which the short answer is that the current contract with Upper Deck that artists have is that if they're sent 100 cards that are supposed to go in packs, so pack pulled sketches we call them, that don't have the little AP or the artist proof on them, they're contractually obliged to return all of those to Upper Deck, whether they're drawn on or not. So if they're spoiled or they manage to only do 90 of them, they got to return the 10 blank ones, for example. For Masterpieces 2020, at the very least, there was at least one, maybe two artists who'd been sent a load of cards and just decided to sell them on eBay for whatever reason.
Yeah, that's right.
So what happens there is that people can buy them and either draw on them themselves if they're an artist, or the collectors can buy them and send them to artists. So the position we'd taken on group was simply that we, with the new sets, bootlegs as we called them, that there was a strong feeling from some of the artists that was potentially risky, because if you give it to an artist who hadn't, let's just use MM 2020 for the sake of argument, if you haven't worked on MM 2020 and yet someone gives you an MM 20 card to draw on that's not an AP, then I guess you got to kind of make a decision at that point. If you're an artist, do I want to work on a future set, Marvel licensed set from Upper Deck? Because it's possible, and I'm not sure how closely they watch this, but it is possible that Upper Deck would see it if it was shared in the public domain, and say, well, hang on, that person wasn't on that set, and or that artist wasn't approved by Marvel, because I'm pretty sure Marvel have to approve the artist that Upper Deck hire. I think they have a say in that. I might be wrong.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Maybe we can ask the Upper Deck person when they come on to talk about sketch card artists. Also, that a number of artists that we've spoken to felt that it actually risked the situation and the work for all of the artists. That when people do that. So APs is a little bit different. If an artist does that 100 sketch cards and they return them all, they usually get, let's just say for the sake of argument, they get one AP for every 10 that they did. So they get 10 APs. And I think, it's a lot looser. And we know that blank APs do change hands.
Oh, yeah.
So, but yeah, that was kind of our position on that. I think there's a statute of limitations, though. I think if you were to give a modern artist a Rittenhouse AP, for example,
I've done it.
Yeah,
that's what I got. So I did. I only have one, I think, that I did like that. Funny enough, it was the person they suggested for MM 2022, or eventually an MM series, is that Ribic. Oh. I really loved Silver Surfer Requiem, and I love the work he did on that, the artwork. And I was like, I got to get a Marvel Masterpieces piece with him doing the Surfer.
Oh, that's beautiful. Wow.
And, this is, I mean, it's next level. It's probably one of my best. Is that
an old school 07, 08 Marvel Masterpieces?
07.
07. Yeah. So even there, I mean, that's a fair chunk of time ago now.
Yeah, right. So that's what I think, statute of limitations for me. this is fine because, these are hanging out. And this was the first Marvel Masterpieces set to have sketch cards, which is why I was kind of excited to use it. Because it kind of matches like my theme that I was going for. But, I think here's my position on it. And it's not the best position. It's not the position everybody agrees with. The real issue comes when you try to sell that sketch card that you do illegally. That's the problem. One, people don't know who's on the set and they buy it not knowing that it's an aftermarket, right? Mm-hmm. People look at the card and they think, oh, this is one of the 10 the artist did for the set. So this is pack pooled. And then it's not, it's later, just no AP. Yeah. And I think that's shady. I really do think that's shady, especially if you're not telling the person that. Yes. So I don't agree with that at all. And I've never done that. But if you get something for you and it's a keeper, which I would argue is rarely the case, right? Because people's tastes change and stuff. And I've kept certain pieces. Yeah. But, I think if you do it on the down low and you don't share it, that's something else. You're keeping it for you, but it's hard to commit to that. Trust me. I've been put in the position where I was like, oh man, I have this sketch card I really love, but I can't show it to anybody because the artist made me promise or whatever. And, I didn't go through with it, but like, that's unrealistic. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think it's unrealistic. And I like the older sketch card. Like if you want to get artists to draw on these sketch cards and stuff like that, instead of buying like modern blanks, I would go for the blanks that have like a statute of limitations. And I think they should let the artists know.
Nice ones as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that should be in a contract. I think Upper Deck should be very clear on that contract that look, no artist can do this, you know what I mean? But if there's like fast forward 10 years down the line, and there's an MM 2020 blank that's floating around. You know what I mean? Does it matter at that point? Yeah. No. You know what I mean? Unless, it comes back on market. And we've seen this, right? What's his name? There was a card on eBay that was from Creators Collection. And it had Marie Severin. Marie Severin, who's just a brilliant artist and a legend in her own right. And she drew an AP one, but she didn't write AP on there because there was no such thing at the time. And she drew it on Collector's Collection and it was stamped. So that means someone erased the sketch that was on it. Oh. She did it at a convention, not knowing. And, she never worked on that set. She only worked on Silver Age. And then that went up on eBay and sold to someone who had no idea that was not an authentic piece. Yeah. And that's extremely aggravating and shady. You know what I mean? Extremely. That's not a good thing to happen. And it is like years later. So, I think the best thing to do is to not do it just because. Yeah. I think
it talks to the provenance of it. Ultimately, that's what it is. It's about.
I think that's the issue, right? If you're trying to like guarantee a set's longevity and the purity of a set, following those rules only guarantee the rarity of the pieces that people have, and it solves people from not getting hurt in the future.
Yeah, I think so. Listen, it's one of those things. We just put it that we didn't want people to do it in the groups. If people want to do it, that's fine. They can go.
Yeah, who cares? We can't police everyone, but we just avoid it in the groups because we don't want the nightmare scenario of someone coming to us and be like, oh my God, this was aftermarket. This person sold it to me that they didn't,
But also,
and that person,
we've got artists in the groups as well.
We got tons of artists in there, and there's no reason to make people feel uncomfortable or to break and put them in jeopardy of losing work that they very much like to do. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I like what Fred Ian is doing. I like what a lot of artists are starting to do, which is the whole some they take commissions for, like people are like, hey, would you do this AP? Yeah. And other times they just draw whoever they feel like drawing.
And then they put it on eBay.
Yeah. And then they put it on eBay. I like that a lot. It's very competitive to buy them for sure. But I do like that there's a linear you know what I mean, movement there. It goes from artist to eBay to collector. And then you can go back to eBay, keep all of your documentation. By the way, everybody, keep your documentation. Always keep screenshots of what you're paying for, who you bought it from. When you start getting deeper and deeper into this hobby, I think that's always a smart thing to do. It's helped me out a lot recently. But yeah, and I like that linear movement a lot more.
I'll give you one example and then we'll move on to wrap up because I've got a few things I want to show you and then we're going to open this pack. Someone submitted something for Sunday Sketch Masterpiece a while back, and it was a while back now. I can't remember what the sketch stock was. It might have been the old Masterpieces sketch stock from 0708, and on that was and this person's a really nice person, major collector, someone we know, absolutely no issues whatsoever with them submitting it. And I thought, well, this is a little bit odd, but I'll go with it. And it was a mashup. So it had a Frozen character and Darth Vader on there, along with a Marvel character. The artist contacted me on Instagram once I posted it and asked me to take it down, and said the original person that did that for me, I did it on the down low, knowing that it would get me in trouble because I still want to work on Marvel sets. Will you take it down? And I was like, well, hang on a minute. That person then sold it on. That's a risk you took, and your agreement with that person doesn't, contracts don't necessarily survive the passing on of,
in advance.
Yeah. And the person that submitted it was furious, and they were like, this is just not on, I did take it down. But a big part of me wishes I hadn't, because it's like, well, if you were worried about that, then why did you do something so off the reservation on official licensed stock?
Yeah, and that's very, very off the reservation.
And that's the thing. You can't control it once that contract is done. So it's like, if I had a sketch,
you just avoid it. And
yeah.
And I understand. And here, this kind of circles back a little bit, and then we'll, I know we got to move on. The problem is here that I think if sketch card artists got paid properly, they wouldn't find themselves in those desperate avenues where they have to sell their blanks because no one's commissioning them. And then someone's like, look, I'll buy them all for $500, $100 a pop. That's nice money for an artist that didn't get paid anything when they worked on a set. I don't blame them at all. And if someone's like, I'll pay you double to do a mashup, I don't blame them at all. No. You know what I mean? But I think that is fueled by the choices that Upper Deck has made in terms of how to compensate artists. In my opinion, I think that's why most of it happens, is because artists feel desperate and they're left with no other option. Because I've been in those conversations. I've seen it happen to people.
I have to say, I don't think the low pay for sketch work is solely one card companies. I think it's pretty much always been across the board.
100%. It's universal.
It's worth mentioning for people.
Oh yeah, Tops, Upper Deck, everybody.
Even back in the day with Rittenhouse.
100%.
We're not talking about life change. Ingrid Hardy, art of sketch cards books, said,
this has been since the dawn of time.
Not do sketch cards as an artist if you want to earn a living.
This is not something you do to earn a living at all, ever.
So
no, 100%.
So in the interest of fairness and balance, I should point that out.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to show you these because I just think they're cool. I can't remember if I've shown you these. Did I show you these? Maybe I did show you these. I'm going to show them again.
Maybe you didn't.
Holograms, baby. Chef Boyardee. Chef Boyardee. Apparently they do canned pasta.
Chef. I grew up on Chef Boyardee. Half of the meat is Chef Boyardee.
Okay, good. The other half then will be these 4 holograms that you can. That's why you're such a big boy.
Thank you. Sorry, is mine? No, okay, go ahead.
These holograms you could only get from Chef Boyardee. I'm not sure what you had to do. Maybe you had to send in wrappers or something, but
I think you had to kill somebody for them.
It's not coming up at all on my camera.
Can't see them at all.
No,
but I know which ones you're referring to.
My Duff camera's a hologram. That, believe it or not, that's a magneto. But my camera is so shite that you can't see them. But they are beautiful. What's this? Exodus? Whoever that is.
I'm going to take your advice for it. Looks great.
Take your word for it. Yeah, take my word for it. They look good. Oh, good grief. Anyway, I've got a Stripe
cards,
and a Mr. Sinister.
They're really
cool. I'm not going to show you that. I've also got a rather nice, care of Jonathan Omega Hunter, a 5-card Spider-Man promo set. I'm not sure where this came from. It's got Impel on the back, but it's a 30th anniversary.
Oh, I love that card.
So that's nice. There's 5 of them. That's SM1, SM2's MJ. I wish there'd been a black cat in this one.
Oh, she looks great.
They're brilliant. I think that's Ramita. That's Ramita artwork.
Ramita. Wow.
That second one. The third one, and I think that's Ramita Senior as well. The third one is Bagley. Of course it is.
Bagley.
Oh.
Killer.
Fourth one, and these will be on the tasting notes. The fourth one is Origin. And the artist on that is Ron Friends and Al Milgram.
That is so cool.
This is just a beautiful, beautiful little promo
gorgeous
set.
card.
And the last one is called Enemies, and it's effectively, well, that's what it says on the tin, Alex Saviuk and Joe Sinnott.
Ooh. Wow.
This, my friend, I'd love to grade all 5
Those are
in
nice.
one thing.
Did they all come from one pack then?
I don't know. Someone did. Omega did tell me where they came from. I'll find out and I'll look at it. I'll look it up for the.
I'm sure.
But yeah, I think it was a cello pack that came around the 30th anniversary, 1960.
Those are beautiful cards, man.
They're absolutely stunning. So let's open a pack. We're going to open a pack of 90s cards.
Yeah.
Which I've been meaning to do for a while now. So what we got here is Fleer Ultra Spider-Man 97. Let's angle this. Is that better? No, it's no better, is it? It's the light behind.
Yeah, it's just the lights behind you, that's all.
Well, yeah, it's the light behind, but it's also just a rubbish webcam. Well, I can do that. There we go.
There you go.
That's better.
That's awesome.
So there we go. So we have, this was $1.99, this pack. I'm going to take a photo of it before I open it.
Don't tell me that.
$1.99, dear. When's the last time you just spent $1.99 and got 8 Marvel cards? Because that's how many are in it. There we go. So I've taken a photo of it for the tasting notes. Here we go. There's an exclusive Spider-Man poster offer on the back. Get your limited edition Fleer Ultra Spider-Man 97 poster while supplies last. This 2-sided poster features the card back artwork of Pat, Olive, and John Romita Jr. and is mailed in a heavy-duty mail tube. Send $5.95 check or money order to Spider-Man poster offer, P.O. Box 4518, Charlestown, Maryland 21690. Do you think that's still open?
Oh, yeah.
Allow 8 to 10 weeks for delivery, 1 request per envelope. Let's do it.
Why not?
I'm actually serious. Send a check and money order to that address and we'll see if we get anything back.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to open this very carefully because I do want to actually keep the wrapper. All right, here we go. Going in. Oh, hear that sound.
Love the sound of the pack.
All right, let's try it. Ease them out there. Come on. Come on, baby. There we go. Here they come. Oh, right. What have we here? That's interesting. Okay, I'll come back to that. First of all, they are a little bit stuck.
Oh, they are stuck. Brick.
Right, hang on. Now that is the sound that you don't want to hear. And yes, I've got a white mark down the middle.
Yeah.
And on that one. So there we go.
Who's that?
Fleer Ultra Spider-Man 97 does stick, folks. And then some. It is glossy.
A lot more of these things stick than people think, man.
Yeah.
Crown.
It's interesting. It is the later 90s ones as well. Because
of course.
98 was Silver Age. So Crown. Now this set is the one that came with a red and a blue logo parallel. So you got the same art on the front, but the backs are different. So this is a red Spider-Man versus Kane. You'll notice that the text on the bottom of that crown was blue, so it'll have a different thing. And I have a feeling the back makes up a picture or possibly a comic story. I'm not sure. The thing is, this Spider-Man versus Kane has 7 cards stuck to the back of it. So there's no way. I mean, I'll try flexing them.
I would flex it up or down.
Yeah, I'm flexing it.
Flex.
I'm going to do it the other way as well on the other axis.
Ooh.
It's not freed them at all. No, it's going to be Oh, yeah, that's damaged as well. Dr. Kafka versus DK, whoever that is. There's some properly late 90s deep cuts in there, but beautiful artwork.
Sensational Spider-Man.
It's Mike Wieringo.
Oh, wow. Mark, man, dude, he's the best. I loved his work.
Yeah, Sensational Spider-Man. Yeah, it's interesting. They've got the different Spider-Man titles on the top of each. Spider-Man one-shots. That one was that Kane one. Yeah, they're all... The white is down the front of all of them. Look.
I figured.
See it all the way up and down the middle.
Is that Daredevil?
That is, yeah. Daredevil had a different costume going on in the late 90s. It was quite bizarre.
Daredevil.
Spider-Man one-shots. So at this point, I don't think any of these are rescuable.
No.
Hello.
No, you did not.
Black Cat.
Hey,
Thank you very much.
The Black Cat.
And you know what? It's got. I don't care that it's got white down the back and the front. I pulled it. So I'm having that. Thank you. That'll go in my. I have a feeling I might have it. You can feel it though. You can feel it down the front. I mean, it's
you pulled a Black Cat.
Yeah, it's a placeholder.
Pulled a Black Cat.
It's a placeholder. So yeah. Wow.
That's
look at that.
Cool.
That's hilarious.
That's awesome.
Right, Spider-Man versus Kane. Let's come off there. Right, what we got here? Untold Tales of Spider-Man was a really good series. This is
I actually read that series.
Batwing.
Not all of it.
But it was fun because it was just
fun.
like it was.
Untold Tales.
It was done in the style of the original '60s stuff.
Mm-hmm.
In the
it's been a while
artwork style
since I
as well.
thought of that.
Right, we've got 3 left, and they're all. Right, Amazing Spider-Man. We have Delilah. Very curvaceous lady with white gloss marks all down her front. So yeah, this is bricked.
Amazing Spider-Man.
Completely bricked. But you know what? I don't care.
No, who gives a
So, and the last one, Spider-Man Unlimited, Spider-Man versus Raptor, whoever that is.
Oh, Raptor. Spider-Man is just so cool.
But, it's 8 cards. They're kind of fun, and I pulled a Black Cat. So, I don't know what, if any, chase cards this set had. So, but what was in here was this. It's a little leaflet.
Legion.
It's an Overpower card game leaflet.
Huh.
Just like a promo leaflet. But you know what? That in itself is a collectible. So that's my win.
I love that. Yeah, that's great.
I'll keep that.
Did they have that game online?
Yeah, it's Marvel Online. It must be one of their first online things.
Marvel Online.
Look at that.
Holy shit.
So this is from 97. So yeah, this will be the infancy.
Oh my gosh. I remember online stuff in 97. That was so much fun.
This is bonkers. There is what's this? Oh, there's tournaments.
Cyber Comics.
I know. There's a tournament here. So this must be 97 May. Yeah, it's a 97 set, so hopefully they had it out before May. Because in the pack, you've got want to be the best there is at what you do, then come to an Overpower tournament and take your shot at being champ. The font.
Whoa, there was an Overpower tournament?
Yeah, it was in New York on May the 17th, Chicago on May the 3rd, Toronto on May the 3rd, Huntsville, Alabama, date TBD, Hemet, California, May 24th,
Whoa.
Seattle, Washington, date TBD, and the National Championship in Chicago, Illinois on July 5th and July 6th. And there were different numbers to call for each of them. So if anyone listening went to any of those events
you need to come
and
on
has
and talk
photos, especially, come and talk to us, because that's the infancy of being online. But Marvel Online,
that's
marvelonline.com. Or on American Online at keyword Marvel. This is this is brilliant. I love it. So for me, that's the value.
Yeah, that's the win.
That's a time capsule.
Black Cat.
That's a time capsule.
That's crazy.
I've got a wrapper. I've got that, and I've got a Black Cat, albeit with gloss.
That you pulled.
So there we go. 90s packs, and actually to tie this back, this is why. Grading for people. So say you were a really mad Delilah fan and you wanted one of these cards and you wanted it for your PC. Mm-hmm. You want to take your chance on buying one that may or may not have a picture good enough to show that it's got that it's bricked, or do you want to buy a graded one? I'll leave it with that.
I don't know, man. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not easy, and this stuff is, like you said before, finite.
Yeah.
This is not around.
And here again is audio proof that not everything you pull from a pack is going to be.
No, it won't be.
9
Just
or
won't
10.
be.
So there we go. Oh, this has been fun. We should do this. We should open the phone lines again.
I love it. I think it's a blast. I think we should do it at least once a month or something.
I think we should. I don't know about once a month. I think we should do it more often. Definitely. I'm still going to. You know what? This theme tune.
Bi-yearly? I don't know.
Oh no, I'm not sharing anymore. You can't hear the music. That's ghastly.
I saw your head bopping, and I was like, he's enjoying himself.
My head's bopping. Yeah, well, I was. Listen, that could have been so cool had I not completely muffed it up. But what I was going to do was I was going to very, very gently hit play, and then gradually do this, and have that playing, as you say. What we say at the end of the episode.
Enjoy collecting, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Marvel Card Collectors Podcast. Visuals and tasting notes for each episode can be found on our Facebook page. You can subscribe and leave us a voicemail via our home on anchor.fm/MCCP. We're also on iTunes, Spotify, and all major podcast platforms. Please take a second to subscribe, like, and review our show wherever you get your podcasts. Our podcast can be found by Googling at the MCC Pod, which will also find us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. Our Facebook community is at MCCW, Marvel Card Collectors Worldwide, and MMC, Marvel Masterpieces Collectors. The great music we use is called Rocket Power by Kevin MacLeod. Thanks to the collectors, artists, and creators who support the Marvel Cards Fan Collective. We'll see you next time, and remember, it's a small hobby but a fun one. Make mine Marvel and enjoy collecting. I am going to very quickly play a Larry King game. I don't care. Dana Carvey. Dana Carvey on the Larry King game. Here we go.
In the fall of 1971 at an Arco station in Buttonwillow, I had my entire fist up Monty Hall's ass. So is that kind of what you're going for?
Go to the phone.
Huh?
Go to the phone.
Go to the phone. Oh! Had my entire fist up Monty Hall's, or Steve McQueen's rectum. I wasn't sure which one you wanted. Okay. I was in a cornhole stack at the Playboy Mansion in 1968. Merv Griffin was on the bottom, then me, Fess Parker, Ronnie Shell, Art Garfunkel, Trini Lopez, and Sebastian Cabot. Hef was watching while Otto Premiture blew him. Butte, Montana.
That's great.
Do you see what I mean? Greg Proops.
Yeah.
You know who Greg Proops is, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Greg Proops is good, man. He was on Whose Line Is It Anyway? I've seen him in other shows.
Yeah. Greg Proops. And then there's LeVar Burton. But all of the guests did it.
Yesterday, I was with my lovely wife, Sean. I was listening to her practice her scales. We were in Provo. I'd had the only New York Times delivered from the Albertson by the one Jew kid who lives in the neighborhood. And tomorrow night on the show, by the way, Robert Mugabe, dictator or misunderstood artist working in an unpopular medium. Reminds me of when I was growing up in Brooklyn with Sandy Koufax and Don Drysdale and a bunch of other guys I didn't grow up with. I remember when I invented gelato. I don't know if you've ever seen a giraffe lick its undercarriage. That was so gratifying.
That's a first.
But
That's a first.
I was at the zoo with my children, whose names I cannot remember. One of them, I think, is named Zorro.
He's so good at Rod Serling's
I saw the
voice.
giraffe lick itself, and I said to Sean, you need to remember that. Why not North Dakota?
Anyway, you get the idea.
Oh, God, that's
Isn't it
so
good?
good.
Oh, mate,
amazing.
seriously, they are brilliant.